And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
Well, hello to everyone. Yes, we are back. It is Josh Thompson and me coming to you with the Weighing In podcast. Right away, I have to say it. Yes, Islam Makhachev took Bobby Green down right away in the first round. So I was wrong. It's all right. Josh is eating it up, loving life. Look at him. He's never been happier. That is so good to see that you are happy. After I had to be on a 20-hour flight from Dublin to the East Coast, it was awesome that you feel so good about it. But no, Makhachev looked good. Congratulations on your really shitty prediction.
I said, hey, you know what? You all better start putting some respect on my name.
Respect on it, baby.
Put some respect on my name. You know what I'm talking about? Jeez. As in terms of your flight, though, I left at 5 a.m., something like that, and I got home by like noon. You were just, I think, getting into Philadelphia. I'm on the West Coast. You're on the East Coast. I was like thinking to myself, man, you got 6 more hours because you had a 6-hour layover. I never booked those flights.
Dude, they sat my fat ass in Philly for fucking ever. And then when I finally go to the gate, delayed. The only flight, I sent you the picture. The only flight there was that was delayed. Thank you very much. I was like, I can't win.
You could have potentially have drove home.
Oh, I could have. I could have.
It's ridiculous.
Nuts.
No, I had a pretty good flight, man. I mean, I got on my first flight to Amsterdam. Wasn't bad. Hour and a half layover. I always try to do the hour and a half to 2 hour layover just so I have enough time in case one of them's delayed. But anything longer than that, I start getting like, this sucks, man. This sucks.
Well, it sucks.
You know, so yeah, and then, but man, my ass, like my butt is numb still from like I fell asleep on the plane from Amsterdam to SFO, and for some reason my butt is still numb. Like it's.
I don't want to know anything about why your butt is numb. Okay. It's okay. I don't have any problem with that. That's what you want to do. Hey, I'm 100% behind you. That's your style. Do it.
I got the TSA full check going on with those guys. They gave me the business. I'm telling you. Like it was like a random selection. Yeah, random selection. My ass. Literally my ass. It was one of those. It was horrible, man. And then I get on the plane and then the stewardess is all, oh, yeah, is this your seat? I'm like, why? Because I have sweats and a hoodie on?
No, I'm sitting here warming it up for somebody else.
Yeah, I was the last person aboard, and she was shocked that I'm like sitting at the front of the plane. I'm like, what are you? Get away from me! I was like already. I was tired.
Get away from me!
I was tired. I was frustrated. Oh man, I was like, man, I had a problem with Delta when I first started, a long time ago. But then this was KLM, so I didn't even fly Delta on the way home. It was like one of their partners. Yeah. I mean, they're normally they're not bad. I mean, KLM was okay. It's not great. But I haven't had any problems with Delta really since. A couple little tiny times. The one time when we flew from Arizona home, I had a freaking problem.
Yeah, you had a problem.
Timothy. Yeah, because Timothy was about to get.
Well, hold it.
Timothy.
I just want you to understand Timothy, and now why your butt feels the way it does. It's all connected, baby. It's all connected.
Yeah, he was sending some messages like, "Yeah, screw that guy." Literally,
he put your name on the watch list.
Well, John, it was weird. Like they did the whole test thing on my bag and my socks and my hands and my belt line, and he puts a little pad inside the machine, and it's all bah, bah, bah. I was like, what? I go, what the fuck was that?
What? Why is it beeping?
I was like, what was that? And he's like, not good. I was like, what? I thought he was joking, but the machine was making the noise. Then he goes, he's like, "Okay, we got to do it again." I was like, yeah, you got to do it again. I was concerned. And then he didn't tell me what it was for, like if it was like if they had samples of, bomb stuff or drugs or whatever it was that he thought it detected. I don't know if it told him, but he never told me. So he swipes all my hands again. And he's like, okay. And then he goes green and goes, ding.
We're gonna switch your name from the punk to the mule.
It honestly scared the shit out of me. I was
really?
Like, you're in another country. And like they pulled me aside and I'm the last person. So like no one's going to witness me being like, just taken away by
Stumped.
cops and probably beaten like, for something. I don't know. It was
funny.
It was a weird feeling. My heart dropped a little bit. I was like, what the hell was that?
Hello.
Oh man,
That's good.
but all right. Well, hey, let's. We had a good trip to Ireland as always.
Oh.
It was fun. We had a good. Look. I'm gonna be 100% honest. The fights, on paper, they looked good. Not all of them lived up to it, John. Not all of them lived up to it.
There were some good ones. There were some
fights.
ones that.
The prelims were pretty good.
Prelims were really
I thought
good.
the prelims did really well. Yeah. And, and I think a little bit of the crowd, especially during the Leah McCourt and Shanae Kavanaugh fight, when they both walked out, I expected like a huge uproar. But I think what happened was the crowd was a little split. And so we got a little bit of like, yay, and then a little bit of yay. But together, like, it was because I've heard Leah walk out before when she main evented, and I've heard Sinead walk out before when she's been on the, and they've erupted. It was almost like they were torn.
Yeah, they were
from each other. Like they didn't know who to cheer for.
It was definitely more for Sinead on this one. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Leah comes from the north.
Not much more though. Not much more though.
Yeah, it's one of those you look at. It's kind of a weird. Just matchup, but it was understandable. You know, they're right against each other in number, and then weird fight. Just weird. She came out, she tore her knee in the very beginning, the first step she took, but she fought on, man. You got to give her credit.
Jeez.
Got to give her.
Gutsy.
Oh, incredible.
Boom. When I tell you that I'm always right, I'm always right. And I predicted it this last fight. I predicted it. John, you've got to agree. Islam Makhachev definitely win and the winner in the first round. I'm always right. I don't just say that because I'm lying. I tell you guys because it's the truth. I'm always right. That's right. Did you hear that? Did you guys hear that? Well, anyways, if you guys listen to me, you guys would have taken the first round submission or finish
like
by
you
Islam.
Did it?
Well, I don't bet on my friends. We know that. I don't bet on my friends. But go to mybookie.ag. You guys would have taken my advice. You guys would have came out ahead. A lot of money. Go to mybookie.ag. Use that promo code weighing in. Just take our advice. John's right every once in a while, so you got to pat him on the back. Same thing with me. But I'm always right. Oh. So go to mybookie.ag. Use that promo code weighing in. I'm telling you guys, with all the sports coming around right now, you've got basketball, you've got baseball, you've got a lot of things that are coming about. Hockey, and the hockey playoffs are about to start here coming up. So look, there's a lot of good ways to bet. We obviously talk a lot more about fighting because this is our area of expertise. But like I've said before, and I said it last time, John's been around since the conception of most of these sports. So go ahead and listen to what John has to say every once in a while when he talks about football, baseball, especially baseball. Baseball has been around forever. So John knows that sport because he helped create it. So the same thing with a little bit of golf. Let's go to mybookie.ag. Use that promo code weighing in. You get a little extra spending cash if you use that QR code for your first initial deposit. That first initial deposit, though, okay? So make sure you use that QR code for the first time that you sign up, okay, at mybookie.ag with the promo code weighing in. Use that QR code. Well, thank me later for all the great advice we give you. John, hopefully John can start to keep up with how much I am right. Mybookie.ag. Use that promo code weighing in. I don't even know how to explain this, I fought when I fought Benson, I tore like all the ligaments in my thumb, and I even broke my thumb and all this other crap, right? It was up into my wrist, I tore ligaments, so it felt really weird, but it changed the way I fought.
Oh yeah.
With her, it changed the way she fought.
Yes.
But she made the adjustments, like pressing to the fence, because like I think I heard you say it in the commentary, because I have my earpieces and I can hear you, and she goes, and you said that she's using the fence as like a third leg.
Yeah.
Like she's able just to lean on her, keep her pressed against the fence because she doesn't have to put pressure on that leg anymore. So she can just lean on Leah.
Smart.
Yeah, honestly, like when I looked at the main card, I was like, okay, the first 3 fights on the main card, I expected more from all 3 of them, those fights. But when he got to that fight, I expected more in terms of like, Sinead chasing after her, big knockdowns, whatever. But you got what you got, and when she and honestly, when you watch those type of fights, they're gutsy as hell. When you see a fighter have to deal with some sort of adversity, I remember there was a fight. I want to say it was Uriah. Can't remember who he fought, but he broke his hand.
Both hands against Mike Brown.
Yeah,
both
there
hands.
You go. I think it was the second time because the first time he lost by knockout, right? When he tried to do that stupid.
He was throwing elbows the whole time because his hands were
Yeah.
just mangled.
Yeah, so both hands were broken, and he's just found a way to keep fighting, man. I mean, didn't come out on top, but he still found a way to keep fighting.
Yep.
And very impressive performance. That's one of the biggest reasons why I respect him so much. After watching that fight, up until that fight, I was like, oh, he's good. I like what he's doing, But after that, as a fighter, you really respect those type of fighters.
Yep.
Who just dug deep. Sinead dug deep, man.
She did.
She was a dog. She dug deep, and she finished the fight really well. She had some good, moments. She had some crappy moments that she worked herself out of. And I thought it was a good fight, especially when you know what she's dealing with.
It's so funny because if I had told you before the fight, I said, "All right, Josh, I'm going to give you a little preview, a little hint that the Leigh McCourt versus Sinead Kavanagh fight is going to be basically 13 minutes of grappling. Who wins?" You would. Yeah. There's no doubt who you would have told me wins the fight. It would have been Leigh because she's the better grappler. No, she wasn't. Sinead gutted through, did a lot of good things. She opened up when she could. She was standing on one leg for the most part, but never gave in. I heard some people complain that at certain points Leigh kind of went after the leg. That's what she's supposed to do. Okay, there's nothing wrong with this. Is competition, and when your whole purpose in this is to you got to damage your opponent. Well, yeah, you weren't the one that damaged the knee at the beginning, but yeah, if you're going to use it to get the win, yeah, that's what your job is. It's okay. Afterwards she's not going to hit her in the knee, but it's like, I thought Sinead did a great job. You could tell she could not throw a punch. She had no balance, no base. She couldn't. She tried to switch stances to see if she could do it. She couldn't push off. You look and you go, man, she's so screwed with that. But she got the win. I give her credit, man. She almost had that Kimura. That Kimura was on. Yeah. She just wasn't. I think she was listening to her coach, John Kavanagh, and he's saying, up, meaning he wanted her to take and force that hand and arm towards the head. But she's thinking up, and she's pulling it up. And I'm like, better words, baby, better words, but didn't. Got close.
Look, so if he was saying up, I could see that's kind of how the position you want to elevate the elbow as well, but you want to take it up towards the head. Yep. So the two things needed to go together. Yes. The other thing that I try to remind fighters, if you guys haven't seen my fight, I fought this guy named Daisuke Sugie or whatever it was. They called him the Amazon in Japan, in Pride. It was in the Bushido series. Yeah. So I fought him. Good jiu-jitsu guy, strong as all hell. I fought him. I hit the knee bar on him, right, out of escaping for my life in an arm bar. And then I hit the knee bar on him, and it was kind of close, but it wasn't enough. So I settled back in, I readjusted, and I pulled as hard as I could at once. Sometimes when you have a hard time getting a submission and they're just slightly getting away, release the pressure and then jerk it real hard. Yep. Now, I'm not saying do that in training.
Not in training, but in the fight.
Saying, yeah. Just so you want to just jerk it real hard. Jerk it real hard.
Excuse me, say that. What
yeah. So she kept trying to put the pressure, and Leah was just adjusting her body a little bit to relieve the pressure. So what you do is you go back with go basically relieve the pressure, and then jerk it real hard to go back against it.
Well, we started with cavity searches, and now we're jerking it real hard. What the hell is wrong with you, dude?
My butt's numb still, by the way. John, we gotta have fun with this, buddy.
I love it.
Gotta have fun with this. No, so I think that's some of the biggest reasons why she wasn't able to kind of get the finish. Yeah. You got to let that pressure go and then reattack it as fast and as hard as you can.
True.
And if you go back and watch the fight that I did with Sugie or Daisuke or whatever in Japan, I did the same thing. I had the knee bar, I couldn't finish it. He was strong enough, so I relieved it a little bit, and then I yanked as hard as I could. And let me just say, the explosion worked. I mean, the hip, the yank, you know what I mean?
We're stopping.
It worked. Oh, geez. But we kind of just started getting onto that because it was such a gutsy performance by Sinead. But Leah McCourt also, she had some moments in there.
Gutsy performance. When you look at the Kimura, the Kimura was tight at times. There was pressure on that arm. She did not give in.
Absolutely.
Tough as hell.
Yeah, I think that's the shoulder she had surgery on as well, that she just came back from. She just came back from shoulder surgery. So I think Doc's going to probably have to go back in there and stitch it up a little bit more.
I don't know, Doc. I think the Doc is sitting there going, look at that, baby. Look at what my work will do. It'll take it.
Yep. He's like, yeah, she'll be back next week.
More money.
money, money, money. Yeah, that's what he's thinking. He's like, pay the doctor. All right, well, let's go through this card a little bit. Let's pick out some of the fights that you wanted.
Well,
to,
again, weird.
talk
Kieran
about.
Clark goes against, Abu, and in that Abu's shoulder, you can see when he comes up, you can see it's dislocated. So it ends after the first round. Just shit happens. That's just the way it is. So he was actually doing pretty well at times. Kieran coming back. I think he wanted. It's almost like he wanted to prove he was the better grappler. You go, why are you doing that? But it is what it is. Let's talk about Mr. Magomed Sharapov, because the dude is good. The dude is good everywhere. It's just, it almost feels like he's in that, I'm flowing. I'm good. There's no reason to, why go harder? When you need to go harder. Kind of like his brother in a lot of ways, where he just settles in and just does his thing, just very good at it. But same with Magomedov, just settles into that groove. There comes those points where you got to step on it, man. You got your guy in a bad place, step on the gas.
John, he's 21 years old. I'm going to cut him a little bit of slack.
Very good point.
I know he's got 100-something, 50 Sambo fights and all that. So I think he's very composed and he understands what's going on. But being inside that cage, he needs to get as much ring time as he possibly, cage time as he possibly can. And this was one of those guys that he knew just couldn't hurt him.
Yep.
He knew he couldn't really handle him. He's like, look, let me just get some time in here. He's like, and at the expense of, the crowd was kind of getting a little restless. But overall, he had a very dominating performance for a 21-year-old.
Yeah, he did.
And Sanchez looked way better than I gave him credit for in any of the other stuff. And he still got dominated. John, we were talking. And I said, I don't think Sanchez gets out of the first round. So I was wrong. Just to make you feel better. I have to point this out. I was wrong. That I was wrong one time.
No. Well, it would make me feel better, but I was in agreement with you. I said, yeah, I don't think so either.
This is true. This is true. Oh man. So okay. Never mind. I'm sorry. Maybe I'll pick another time I was wrong. It might be a while, but it might be a while.
Oh yeah.
But
it'll be at least another 32 seconds.
Yeah, Hassan looked absolutely amazing. He's young, 21 years old. He's very talented. He's good on the feet. He's extremely talented in the wrestling and on the ground. But I just think realistically, I think him and his brother and his corners thought, as long as you're not in any trouble, just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Let's get through this fight. And, so I thought it was a good performance by him.
No, it was a good performance. Just in ways you go, you can get rid of that guy. Why are you going to be in there with him when you can get rid of him?
Yeah.
But
at 21 years old, you think you're invincible.
Yeah. True.
But let's talk about someone who does need to finish. Jornel Lugo.
Yeah.
And not only him, but even Brian Moore. I had talked to Brian afterwards, and he goes, hey, how'd you score the fight? I said, I had you losing.
Yeah.
I said, I thought it was close. I go, I'm not
was.
going to say, like, if it went to you, I wouldn't have been upset. I go, but I had you losing. I said, I had Jornel Lugo winning the fight. And I'm trying to remember what round that I gave Brian, but I think it was the first round. And I gave Jornel the next two, or maybe I can't remember. As we went through it was a long duration from that fight till after I had talked to him. But what round did you give Brian a round?
Yeah, I think I gave him the second.
The second,
and
then one of the judges gave him the third.
Yeah.
And so he thought he won.
No, he lost. Like, if you go back and you look, he threw, but he didn't hit. I mean, he missed a lot of shots. And that's you got to. It doesn't matter if you're throwing if they're not connecting. Mm-hmm. It's nothing.
Well, I had to tell him, and look, you guys. I know when I'm on here this podcast, and I tell you guys this, and this, and whatever I say here, I tell the fighters.
Yeah.
And it's like I tell the same thing, and we'll get into the Gegard conversation later. But it's like, but I told Brian the same thing. I said, look, there's no doubt you're talented. You've got good boxing. You rip the body really well. I go, but the last time I talked to you, I go, all you have to do is use a little bit more kicks. A little bit more kicks would have set up your hands. And this time, you didn't kick at all. You kicked like 3 or 4 times, and that was it. It wasn't a lot. use your kicks to set up your hands. And John Kavanaugh was sitting right there. And I said, and then when you're using your hands, finish with a kick. So it always keeps them guessing. They don't have to be hard. They don't have to be powerful. They just have to realize that something's going to be coming.
Yeah.
It's not just 1-2 combination, right hand, left hook combination, or a 3-punch combination, and then you move out of the way. I go, now, on top of that, the wrestling. You don't need to get the takedowns, but you got to threaten them. No different than how you got to throw the kicks. I go, right now, I look at you as just a boxer. That's it. I go, and if that's the case,
there's one element
you're in the wrong
to deal
sport.
with.
Yeah, I told him, I was like, you're in the wrong sport if you just want to be a boxer. So you got to make these adjustments, bud. Use them. You've got all the tools. You're good at them. You possess the power. You possess the ability to do it. I know you do, and I've seen you do it. But today, I said, I thought you lost the fight. I got to be honest with you. So.
No, it's all right. I'll go in reverse. Jornel Lugo comes up to me and I said, hey, your output, it's not there.
Yeah.
You're allowing someone to dictate how much you're throwing. I said, your jab, every time you threw out your jab, it was working and it was able to get you offline and you were able to then throw your straight down the middle, no matter if it was you were in the southpaw or in the orthodox, since he switches so much. I go, why'd you stop? He says, you just seemed in that, that realm. I was trying to, get into range and he kept on stepping out of it at times. I said, he wasn't stepping out. You were the one doing it. I said, man, you need to understand. This is where you look at this fight and go, all right, I believe you won the fight, but it was this close and it could have gone the other way. And when it does, and you're going to be all upset, don't be upset because it's you. You're the one that created that situation. I go, and I said the same thing. You need to make him have to deal with more than just, I'm going to stand here and box with you. He wants to do that. What are you doing? Make it to where he has other elements that he needs to deal with, and it all comes off of your jab. Hit that jab. Go into a takedown, and if you want, break off. Hit him with an elbow off the top. I don't care. Make him think that it's coming. Once he has to think about more than just the stand-up and the hands, things start to open up. I said, you landed some good kicks at times, but then you got away from it. I go, you can't get away from it. You got to stick to it. And there was a fight in the UFC, we'll talk about, man, you take a look, fighter got away from what he was doing because he got checked a couple times and he stopped. And you go, hey, I know it hurt. You can't stop. You got to continue on with it because it was actually being effective for you. And so, both of these guys, Brian is not a young fighter, but he's a guy who's got a lot of talent and he's got a lot more left in him. He just needs to open up his game, just, that blossoming of it. And Lugo, man, he's young, he's talented, he's fast. I love the way he thinks most of the time inside of the cage, and he adjusts. This is one of those ones, take a look at it, understand it, learn from it, move on. But there's things to learn from this victory. Don't sit there and just take it in like, this was great. And he wasn't. So,
yeah, my perception of the the overall fight is, Brian Moore, you been waiting for 5 years, 4.5, 5 years to fight in that cage.
Yeah, in that arena.
In that arena. Yeah. And then you go out there and not use all your tools, not use all your weapons, and didn't seem like you
just let it slide.
You could have
just let it slide away.
You could have given more. Yeah. Exactly. And then Lugo, this was your opportunity to shine. This crowd was electric, all of these things, not just that, but this is an audition. You want to be talked about in the top in that top 10 in that bantamweight division, you better start performing better. There's a lot of hype around you, but it's going to start going away if you don't start putting people to sleep or just having more dominant performances. You had moments in there where it could have been more dominant. And I know Brian Moore is an extremely talented fighter.
And he hits hard.
He's tough. He's gritty. He hits hard. He's gritty all the way around. The thing is, though, is that you have the ability to, and you're young as well, you have the ability to take it to the next level. This was an audition on the main card for you to perform in a huge crowd setting that is electric. And it didn't come through. So I'm just using this and take it as constructive criticism. I still am a big fan. But for both fighters, you guys need to make adjustments.
Yep.
Both of you guys.
I agree.
And just so you, and everyone listening, we tell the fighters when we talk about, next time we see these fighters in the fighter meetings, we'll say, hey, this, and this is what we talked about last time, in your performances. And so what are we going to see differently now this time? These are questions that we have to answer from last fight to this fight, which we thought we were going to get answers from Brian Moore. And he did fight a little bit better this time than he did last time. but it still was still very one-dimensional.
Yeah. But let's talk about the last prelim, because you want to talk about a guy making the right adjustments. Brett Johns going against the undefeated Kakarov. Look, Brett Johns fought the exact type of fight he was supposed to fight to get a win against a guy that was undefeated, has big power in his hands for that weight class. Brett Johns came in, used his stand-up to set up his grappling, set up the takedown, took him down, and just systematically just beat him down, taking just little bits away from him throughout the rounds. You know, he got it into I think it was the third round when he got the finish, and it was because of everything he did and the way he did it. And you look and you go, that's a veteran fighter that learned from his past fight where he goes, I was trying to be a stand-up guy. I'm trying to be exciting. I've got to be me. And that's what he was. I thought he looked fantastic. It was a great performance against an undefeated fighter, and he put that big old mark on the end of his record now. So great fight for Brett Johns.
Yeah, good stuff. Just not every fight's going to be on the feet. Not every fight's going to have to be on the ground. You know, he utilized a little bit of his hard striking to get himself in on the clinch, get the takedown. When he got to the top position, you know, he just had the top control and the pressure and all those things. And Kakarov just didn't have the answer for it. Just wasn't able to get off from underneath him. So we'll see where Brett Johns goes from here. He's going to need to open up a little bit more when he hits the ground and pound, when he gets to that top position, you know. But I mean, I like what he was doing. And I understand when you have someone who's dangerous, undefeated, those are the things you got to deal with. You have to take those chances. Either you want to open up more with the striking, but you don't want to lose your position, or you want to try for the submission, but you don't want to lose your position. It's you're like, crap, if he gets back up, I got to work double as hard. Like your fighters are thinking through this
the whole time
as they're going, So, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What's another fight on this on the prelims that you were?
Look, I like David Gallon, and he's looking good. That's his second big win in a row. This time against Charlie Leary, another Brit who's just tough as nails and just put on a good performance. Put it on Charlie. Got the stoppage. It was a big win for him. He's looking good. He's got good judo. He's got heavy hands. We've seen in the past. He's been doing good. And then you got to give it up for Stephanie Page. You normally don't see 115-pound women that can actually have power in their hands. Normally, the 115-pounders, they have a kick that lands, a knee, something like that really starts that thing. Nope. Stephanie Page, man, just put it on undefeated Danny McCormick and did not let off. 2 right hands in a row is what started it, and then just kept on her. And it was, I heard people complaining about the stoppage, and I'm like,
what are you fucking complaining about?
People, hey, that's people, man. You know, Mark Goddard was the referee in this. He did a great job. He let her go as far as she could. When she is putting her hands out in that fashion, she can't even control where her hands are going. She's in this autopilot. She didn't know who she was. And he's saving her in this. Yeah, she gets a loss. So what?
Yeah.
She could have been altered for the rest of her career in that fight if he lets it go on. She gave what she could give. She wasn't responding in any, thinking intelligently manner. And Mark took her out of it. It was a great stoppage. Great stoppage also in the Charlie Leary by Kevin McDonald. I know Charlie was like, what? I'm fine. It's like, you don't even know. You weren't even there for that moment, dude. You got starched. So this happens in fighting. Fighters will go, I'm fine. No, you don't even remember what happened. You have to watch up on the replay.
Yeah, I looked at the Stephanie Page and Danny McCormick fight as I'm watching it. I'm watching on the monitor. I watched it live while they were in the cage, and then I turned and watched it on the monitor again. There was like maybe one moment where he could have stopped it earlier.
Yeah,
that was it. But then she actually threw a punch. Yep. And it was like, okay, if you're fighting back,
let me try to let you go.
So the great thing is he didn't jump in too soon. She did take some big shots. But maybe you were standing there. I think you were. I actually made sure that I was able to see Kim out and say, hey, in that fight, because I knew he was going to get a lot of shit, I said, you did a great job. That as a fighter, you want as long as you possibly can give me without jeopardizing the rest of my life and my career. Yep. And he did all of that.
Yep.
I've been on this stage, and I even told him there. I've been on this stage and I've called him out on some things like, hey, that was a bad stoppage. And I've, I didn't give him, I've said it on here. And when I did see him this time, I wanted to make sure he understood it was a good stoppage. I said, but next time when you do F up, I will call you out. I'm going to call you out. Because there's times where they do get stopped too early as a fighter. You're going, damn, what? Like I could have kept going. But then there's times where the fighters don't understand.
Yes.
They don't even know where they were.
That's right.
And Danny McCormick didn't know where she was.
No, for a while.
She was lost.
For a while.
Yeah, she was lost in that fight. So, I thought it was a good stoppage. It was perfect timing. And he gave her every opportunity. And it was a good job by Mark Goddard.
Yep.
Next fight?
Well, let's see. I'm gonna go down the list real quick. It was a very nice opening pro debut for Dara Kelly. That dude's going to be a stud. He is super strong, good grappler. Got a big win against Junior Morgan, but Junior Morgan was not in his class. Let's just be honest. Yeah, the one guy was 3-0, and he was his pro debut, but Kelly Dar's been fighting in the amateurs for a while. The kid's really good. That was a great
9-0, right? 9-0 as an amateur.
Yeah. It's funny because a lot of John Kavanaugh's guys have a lot. I mean, a lot. We're talking 24, 36 amateur fights. It's like 36 amateur fights. That's a lot even for boxing. And in the amateurs,
if you haven't got it figured out by 36 amateur fights, John, you're not meant to be a fighter. Just stop. If you fought 36 times with no pay,
that's it.
You obviously have another job.
I want to go to the heavyweight matchup between Gohan Sarkam and Kirill Sadilnikov. It's funny because we talk. We had Gegard's team and Gohan as part of that, and we're going back and forth talking about stuff. And he says, got any advice from you? I said, yeah. And I told him, I said, relax, quit trying to knock everybody out. I said, your hands are good, they're fast. Just touch him. That's all you got to do. If you keep touching him, you'll get the win. If you try to knock him out, you're going to make a mistake. He's going to get his weight on top of you on the ground. It's going to be trouble from there. I go, don't put yourself in that position. Just think about, I just want to keep touching him. He still went too hard in some areas.
Yeah.
He's going very hard, but goddamn, he did a good job of just touching him a lot of it.
John, I recall watching him fight, but then I was like, man, I said, after seeing him fight this time again and seeing more of what he can do, when he has fought and he had a loss to Maori.
Yep,
and
Steve Maori.
And then I saw him fight this time. I'm like, how'd you lose to Maori?
Because he tried to knock his head off and got out of position, and Maori was able to take him down and get a Kimura, and that's what happens.
And I think Maori's talented.
He is.
But after what I saw from Gokhan, from what his performance was, I was thinking to myself, man, you are really damn good.
Dangerous.
He's dangerous. You're right. Inside leg kick, outside leg kick, calf kick, putting the combination
together. Kick up the middle.
Yeah. That kick up the middle was nasty.
Oh, dude, hit him how many times?
I think it was at the end of the first round. He hit a beautiful 1-2. And then right after he reset, came back up with a straight kick up the middle, right to the face. Yep. And I think it was one of the highlights because it just grazed, but it
just
hit him.
Right here.
It grazed off to the side. I was like, holy shit. And these guys are heavyweights. And it was good, man.
Yeah. He's got fast hands. The kicks were fast. He's got speed. He just needs to, you got to fight your fight. But quit at heavyweight. You try to tell guys, man, look, you got enough power. All it takes is the placement. It's the accuracy of the shot, not how hard you throw it. So
that was honestly, that fight was great. They both took the center of the cage. Yep. They both tried to get after each other. They both had moments in the fight. Gokhan had a little bit more.
I said it in the broadcast because it really did remind me. I had Kirill Sadilnikov was undefeated when I did his fight against Paul Buentello at Affliction.
That was a long time ago.
Oh, fuck yeah. And I ended up stopping that fight. Everyone thinks the doctor did. No, it was me. But because he
doesn't look that old.
I'm telling you, he was a baby, man. And Paul Buentello lit him up with a jab, very similar to what in the end happened with Gohan. And it really reminded me of that fight. He was getting just touched up by that jab and shots up the middle, man. It was very impressive performance by Sarkam. Congratulations.
Doesn't Doesn't Kirill, does he remind you of Big Country a little bit?
Yeah.
I don't know, the way he holds his hands, the way he holds his hands, the way he kind of stalks after you.
He's fast.
He kind of
faster
reminded me
than Roy.
Oh, yeah.
But doesn't have the power in the right hand like Roy.
Yeah,
Not
isn't
many
that funny
people
how
do.
that shit works?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very unfortunate. But overall, to me, I felt like that was the fight of the night.
Oh, it was great.
Like when it came, outside of, the title fight at the end, in terms of performance, though. But I mean, if you wanted to see like a tough, gritty, just grimy fight between two guys or females, whatever. But this fight was one of the best.
Yeah.
It was awesome on the card.
Well, since you brought up the title fight, let's go.
Let's go. Well, I don't want to say, but it was.
Don't say I told you so.
No, I didn't say that.
Yeah.
But we had talked about it, John.
Yeah.
That Austin Vanderford had his hands full.
Yeah.
And
Come on.
people just don't understand. Not just people that listen to our show. I know people that work in the industry, and they've worked in the industry forever. They just don't understand how good Gegard is.
Yes.
They continue to say like, "Oh well, this and that and whatever." Like he just. I said, what you guys do is you guys pick apart fights that he just wasn't motivated for. And I've had these conversations not just with you, but with other fighters as well as with myself internally when I was fighting. I needed to get, when I got to a certain level, I needed to fight people that motivated.
Sure.
And if you don't have that motivation, like I would ask for fights, like whether it was Coker, I was asking Coker, or whether I was asking Dana, I would be asking for fights that I knew that like, this is the fight that I want. This is the fight. And it was never fighters that like, I thought I was just going to walk through. I just thought it made for a great fight. I got to a point in my career where I just wanted to fight the guys that I thought would bring the best out in me, because I saw how Gil and I brought the best out in each other. And I just figured there was more guys. Like when I went to the UFC, I was like, give me Cerrone. I mean, I wanted the Pettis thing, but he became champion. So it was like, I should have fought him. But you know what I mean? Like that's out of your control when they become the champion. It's up to the UFC then, But with Cowboy, it was never offered to me. Why? Like that fight should have been automatic as soon as I came, and it just was never offered to me. I mean, considering all the years that I had heard about it. So as a fighter, you want to fight people that motivate you.
Yep.
And for some reason, Austin being undefeated, I think it just was like, there's all the talk, oh, he's undefeated. He's got the wrestling to take him down at will, and if he's able to hold him down, and Gegard just doesn't get the credit of his ability to stop takedowns, to make it uncomfortable for people once they do take him down, the hook sweep, the way he gets up against the fence, how calm he is, how the type of pressure he puts on you. He doesn't load anything up. He just touches you, but he possesses power. He's got that big dick energy. And so it's like he just slowly and systematically just picks you apart. And you could tell within the first 30 seconds of that fight that Austin felt uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah. Yep. You could absolutely see it. And when he came out and he started throwing his hands, and nothing was close. He wasn't getting close. He landed, I want to say one shot, and Gegard just adjusted. And you could see the way Gegard was standing. His stance for the fight was, go ahead and try to take me down. Because he squared himself off, which we'll tell people you don't want to do that unless you have a distinct advantage in that stand-up area, which he did, so it makes sense for him to do it. And even from that squared-off stance, when he was letting his hands go, he was touching Austin, and he was touching him with power. And Austin got buzzed, and then he shoots in for the takedown. If you watch the hips of Gegard slam Austin's head into the canvas and his arms extended, I think that's how he kind of hurt his shoulder. But, man. Look, Gegard's good. And all those fights, you got to figure what, Josh, you had about, little over 30, 32 fights or so, 31, somewhere in there?
So I've probably around 40 something when you put the ones on.
Yeah, the ones that aren't on the
websites
record thing. Yeah.
When websites weren't around yet.
Think about coming up on 60.
That's crazy. That's nuts.
Unfucking believable, man.
That's nuts.
The guy is just, and this is the amazing part. Look, he's still the best guy there is out there in the middleweight division. There's him and there is Izzy. Those are the two guys. And I do believe that Gegard's style and Izzy's style match up. It would be. Yeah,
we've said this for a while.
Yeah, I have. And then people, oh, you're crazy. No, I'm not. Look, I'm not saying that Izzy can't beat Gegard. He could. And I'm telling you that Gegard could beat Izzy. All depends on the fight, who does what right. But Gegard does match up well in the stand-up with Izzy. On the ground, defensively, as far as getting it to the ground, Izzy's got great hips, and he does a good job. I don't think it would be an easy takedown for Gegard. But on the ground, there is no comparison. None. He is not ready for Gegard's level on the ground.
Not even close. Yeah. And then, look, I said this when we were doing the lead up to it. I go, everyone thinks because, and even Gegard said it during the fighter interviews, people think I'm not strong. It's like, because I'm tall and I'm skinny. Yeah. But bro, he's got
long levers, man.
I always go, he's got long levers, but he's also got big dick energy, and that's heavy hips, baby. If you guys don't know this story, man, you guys got to go back and you got to go back to Joe Rogan's drive podcast. The nail. Got to go to Joe Rogan's podcast and listen. Got a hammer to drive the nail kind of situation. He's got heavy hips, and you see it every time he gets on top of people. He just puts the business on them, and he makes people look like they don't belong in there when he gets on top of them. And his transitions are seamless when it comes to his grappling. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and I don't want to do the comparison because we've talked about this and we've talked to it over and over. But I do think stylistically, there's people in the UFC that match up well with him. I think there's even some that are like a little bit ranked lower. They would have a better chance of beating him than say like Izzy would. Yeah. Izzy and him are good, and then it comes down to on the feet, Gegard could hang with him. I'm not saying that Gegard's better than him on the feet. No. But Gegard getting the wrestling and the takedowns and being on top, there's no comparison. Absolutely not. I mean, Gegard is the better grappler and the better wrestler, the better submission guy, and he's got heavy hips. And I think, but you get into I think a stylistic matchup, if I was to compare someone that I think that would give him a hard time, is Marvin Vettori. Vettori would give him a hard time. The relentless pressure, using the wrestling. I'm not saying that it wouldn't be, but I think that type of fight has tended to give Gegard a little bit of a hard time. People that just constantly just keep shooting on him until they get tired. But we saw in Vettori when he fought Izzy. He never got tired. He just couldn't get the takedown. He's a stud.
Oh, yeah.
Vettori's a stud, and he just wasn't able to get the takedown against Izzy. And I don't know if he'd be able to get the takedown against Gegard. But that style of fight would make it harder for Gegard. Yeah. Izzy doesn't possess that. So I think it would be a fun fight. It'd be fun to see the fight happen. I know it'll never happen, but look, let's just continue on with what he's doing. I mean, you've got a couple other guys that are in there. Austin, he's not undefeated anymore, but you got his teammate, Johnny Eblen, fantastic wrestler, possesses some power in the hands. He's a little bit more comfortable on the feet than Austin. He's got good wrestling. Johnny Eblen does. Austin, I think, has better transitional wrestling, but he's also shorter, and it's harder for him to get in deep on someone like that. I think he's explosive enough to get in, but if Johnny Eblen is to get to the legs, he may be potentially get a takedown and try to get on top. But even when you get to the top position, ask Rafael Lovato Jr., it's not easy.
Nope.
To control that position. He's good at the hook sweep. He's good at the kind of coming up on the X guard. He's good at using his butterfly sweeps, to try to break your balance, elevate you, do all of those things so he gets back up to his feet. He's good. He's really, really good. John, for me, there's no other place for him to go but up. As in terms of what I mean, guys, is that whoever fight who up and weight. That's the only way I really believe.
That's where the challenge comes.
That's it.
You're going to sit there and say, look, who in right now in the middleweights is going to challenge him? I just don't see a whole lot of challenge there. Johnny Eblen would be probably as close as there is, and I think Johnny just needs a couple more fights before he.
Yeah, he does. I'm not saying he's ready for
before
Gegard
he should be facing Gegard. But if you look at the light heavyweights, there is some competition there. You go, and he's fought at light heavyweight. He doesn't want to, I don't think, but. Yeah. He knows that, hey, there's a strength difference, there's a size difference there, and it's something that makes it harder for me in the fight. But if you're looking, that's the direction for a true challenge.
Yeah, I think whoever wins the Grand Prix, whether it's Corey Anderson or Nemkov, I think you see him fight the winner. You should see him fight the winner. Yeah. I'm just being honest. Let's not dink around with this shit anymore, John. Let's go right to the point. Yeah, you got to go right to it, buddy. I mean, he's fought at heavyweight. He's got to win over Mark Hunt. I know I say that quite a bit because it's crazy
impressive.
to think that this guy's fought at heavyweight. It's extremely impressive, And then he was the 205-pound champ in Strikeforce, and he had some success there. He's fought a lot of good guys in that weight class, and then, of their time. And then then he went to the UFC. He was having success there as well. People were like, oh yeah, he left because, no, he left because he got paid a lot more
left
money.
on a 5-fight win streak. Do you think the UFC wanted to lose him? They didn't want to lose him.
No. That's why Bellator had to pay him so much.
And he deserves it.
Hey, I'm going to try the free market. I'm going to try the free agency, see what happens. And he had worked with Coker before. He liked working with Coker when he was with Strikeforce. And he said, hey, I'll pay you this much money. Come back over. So he just came over. Like that's how these business dealings go down. Like if you have a relationship with some of these fighters, then you're able to work on, hey, what can you do for me for real? Not this business of, this is what it is.
Well,
let's try and work together.
And let's be honest. Let's put it out there. It's also the way your deal is structured. The UFC is very, straight up the line. They do a 50-50. They do you have a show and a win. That's a 50-50 split. So, Gegard, let's be honest, he doesn't have a 50-50 split. Okay? He gets paid what he gets paid, no matter if he wins or loses. That's a nice element for him that he doesn't have to worry about. He knows exactly what he's going to make. I always say, a lot of fighters mentally spend that money, especially in the UFC where they're fighting a tough guy, right? And they go, oh, I'm going to make this much. And you've already mentally spent $40,000 and you come out with 20. That sucks. That's a big loss. It hurts. So,
yep.
It's
and if you come out with any injury and you're out for an extended period of time, that's not a lot of money to live off.
No, it's not.
And I'm not here to talk about, which promotion pays more, which promotion, like it just comes down to certain fighters. And that's just so people understand. Certain fighters get the all-in deals. Gegard being what he's proven to be, he deserves an all-in deal. Like he doesn't fight any less hard based off of how much he's getting paid. He fights, if he was to fight less hard, it'd be because someone doesn't motivate him. He's at the stage where, like, when he's a motivated fighter, I don't see very many people able to beat him.
Yeah.
And everyone keeps going back to the Uriah Hall fight. That could happen to anybody, but you go back and watch. Then he came back and beat him.
Oh, smoked him.
So he lost to him one time, then he came back and beat him. But he was winning that fight up until he got clipped.
Yep. But
you know what I mean?
That's fighting. All it takes is one.
Yep. And people just want to go back to, that one time in band camp. They remember,
Well, it's funny. After the show, you and I, we go and we have a beer or whatever and enjoy ourselves. And I was talking with a fighter who does not fight for Bellator, does not fight for the UFC, but wants to go to the UFC. And I will tell you, the dude's a stud. He is a beast, a monster, really good. And he's sitting there talking to me. He says, I've been talking. Sean Shelby's telling me just, get a little more time. And I'm going, okay. I said, but why? I go, you're in the prime of your career and you're allowing Sean Shelby, who I'm not saying anything bad about him. He's putting you on the back burner because he has too many people on his roster coming from a certain area. And you're that guy that, he knows you're good. He knows you're able to beat a ton of people on his roster, but he owes them fights and he's having you wait and you're just going to wait for him. I go, have you lost your mind? I go, you tell me right now, why is it you fight? Tell me. And he goes, because I love it. I said, okay, you love it. Great. I said, does your family love it? And they go, well, yeah, I mean, I'm away from them a lot. So tell me, why do you fight? He goes, well, for the money. I said, then why are you going with the people that is going to give you the least amount of money for what you do? I go, he's already got you. As soon as he says, hey, here, you want to come to us? He's going to send you a contract, and it's going to be a very basic base contract that you're not going to make much money. You're going to have to win. Let's say if it's a 4-fight contract or a 6-fight contract, you're going to have to win those fights, all of them, to get bumped up. I go, now you've gone 2-3 years of your career where you haven't made shit, but you're fighting for the UFC. I said, hey, if your ego is that it needs that, do it. I'm telling you, do it. I go, but the thing you should be thinking about fighting for is putting food on the table for your family. And how much money can I put in the bank so I don't have to do this forever? I said, that's what it's about. I said, that's why it's called prize fighting. And he's looking at me like, kind of makes sense.
Like when a dog looks at its owner, with tilts his head. Just like,
so, I don't know.
I mean, look, Yeah, it's.
I don't blame him, and I understand it, and that's one of the things like the UFC really has going for him is that's validity. You validate fighters feel validated when they make it to the UFC because I'm one of those guys. I'm one of the best then. Okay. Yep. You're one of them, but you're not the one, and they're paying you a lot less because you are so ingrained that that's where I need to be to prove to everybody else that I'm, up of this level. You're crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, I think for me, I was blessed enough to, and I worked my ass off, but I was blessed enough to be signed by them when I was early in my career.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I was like 22, 23 when they signed me. And when I look back, I'm like, that's why I never really cared if I ever went back. I was like, I've already been there, done that. That kind of situation. I went and fought in Pride. I think that was also a very eye-opening situation. I fought in Nagoya Arena there. There was 40-something thousand people there when I fought. And I'm thinking to myself, like
I never fought in front of 40,000 people.
I never fought in front of 40-something thousand people in the UFC. I'm like it's not, you know what I mean? So I was like, there's a lot of other options out here. Like it was very eye-opening to me. And not to mention with that fight, John, in front of those 43,000 or 40-something thousand people, I made triple the money.
Yes.
And so I was like, all right, this is where it's at. No, like this is better.
Look, I started with the UFC and I love the UFC and stuff, but there came a point where I was trying to get out of something and I did, but it cost me with the UFC and Dana was mad at me and that was okay. But I learned right away and I told people, hey, they go, why aren't you working with the UFC anymore? I go, it's not me, it's them. And that's okay. I'm okay with it. I'm doing just fine because I was working for Strike Force and other, all these other promotions and I was having a good time and it was like, I don't need them and they don't need me. And once you learn that, it's freeing, Yeah. I turned down the UFC all the time when, later on when I went back to working for them and it wasn't that I was against them. It was, I put into play a very simple concept. Hey, if I accept a fight, no matter how small the show is, and the UFC or Bellator or someone else that's bigger comes and asks me to do it, I never, take the show from them and tell the other people, hey, I got something bigger. I will always stay with what I took. And I did that just because it was the right thing to do in my opinion. And so I turned the UFC down all the time because they were always late. They were one of the last ones that, 2 weeks away from their show, they were, calling or something like that when I had this set up for over 2 months. Right. And it's like, hey, I'm sorry, I'm busy. And it was it was the right way of doing it. And it was freeing when you learn, hey, this isn't about those letters. This is about the sport. This is about just, hey, you can have fun doing this and enjoy yourself no matter who you're doing it for. Just have the right, emphasis behind you and why you're doing it.
Rogan talks about that all the time. Like, he's like, look, I set out my comedy schedule. He's like, when I set it out and I tell these venues that I'm going to be there, he's like, I don't give a shit who calls me.
Yep.
And if you call me to do an appearance, if the UFC calls me to do the show and they're like, hey, we want you to do this, he's like, nope, I can't do it. He's like, if you start ditching on those people because then they find out you went somewhere else, he's like, you're burning your bridges. Then your name gets ruined throughout, like in terms of, now, sure, you're working for a bigger organization. Say you took a LFA to ref an LFA and then all of a sudden they see you in the UFC.
Okay.
That's a dick move though. That's like, oh, he just clouded me. That he just showed everyone that he's got more clout by just doing that to me. And Rogan talks about not doing that, especially at the venues where he's like, look, I'm set at the, say, Nashville Improv. I don't know if there is a Nashville Improv, but you know what I mean? Like they have, different venues that they go to. He's like, you don't want to burn those bridges. You don't want to ruin those connections. And so that's very true. That's good.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the UFC, man.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
John was a little long-winded there.
Is that where we're going?
No, it's usually me. That's why. No, it's usually me. Do you want to start with the main event or do you want to go?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, let's go right to the main event.
Let's go to the main event. All right, before we go on, I want to talk about one of my favorite sponsors that we have. It is Fume. Fume is an incredible product that will help you if you are a smoker, you are a vapor, Aiden Powers. It will help you in breaking that habit, getting you healthy again, keeping the people around you healthy because there's no smoke. There's nothing that comes out of it. It is done with essential oils. You use this prominent, well done, a beautifully crafted piece of equipment that you will put an essential oil core into. And with that, you're able to take this, get a very nice, beautifully, incredibly efficient part of the essential oils into you. It gives you, this is peppermint. I love peppermint. It gives you a flavor. You'll feel it in your sinus areas, your lungs. It is fantastic. It will help you become a healthier person. Fume was launched in Calgary, Canada, in an effort for people to help create a more positive and fresher world with people not smoking and vaping. Over 50,000 customers around the world will tell you that this works. It will help you with that hand-to-mouth habit that smoking and vaping creates. It will help you break it, and it will help make you a person that is healthier and better off in continuing your life forward. From the start, Fume is not something that is going to just stop everything right away. You've got to use it, and you've got to get used to using it for that replacement. But once you do, this is the product that will get you off of the nasty habit of smoking. I will tell you right now, I want you to go to Breathe Fume. Now, Fume is F-U-M. Don't take and put the E on the end. It is Breathe Fume /weighingin.com. You go to that website, push in the promo code of Weighing In, and you will get 10% off. And you can get all kinds of different flavors that are out there. I'm talking peppermint, black pepper, conker, bubbly lime. Even in the winter time, the time of Christmas, we've got eggnog. It's fantastic. It will make a big difference. You can use it on a plane. You can use it on a train. This is something that they will not stop you from pulling out and getting that nice feeling of, I feel refreshed. So go to breathefume.com right now. This is the product. You need it. Go get it. I tell you what, you take a look at going into this. I said Islam's going to win the fight. I didn't have any doubts about that. But I did think that Bobby could make it through the first round. I did. And he didn't. But and I'm looking, it's like there's no excuses. Look, Islam's just that good, and we know how good he is. Yeah. But I said that he was going to have a hard time getting the takedown, especially in the open, going to his legs. He never even tried it. That was smart. He pushed him to the fence, then dropped down into his legs. Beautiful takedown, and dominant from that point. And I heard people again criticizing Herb for stopping the fight. It wasn't going to change. No. Nothing was going to change there. Okay. Bobby wasn't moving. It was over. Islam, checkmate, done. Beautiful win. And he's put himself in that position where, you're going to have, Charles fighting Justin, but whoever wins that fight, they got a monster coming after him in Makhachev. So very nice. I'm happy for you and your former teammate that you would not bet on, because you could have gotten your steak dinner back.
All right. No, honestly, I feel like I get that feeling of if I would have bet on him, shit would have been different.
You would have put the bad juju on him, man.
Yeah, I just don't do it, man. I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
I'm going to rag you for it, but I don't blame you.
Of course. What bothers me though is that, look, I fought Bobby Green, and people are like, oh, well, you're just salty because he beat you. No. If you go back and watch that fight, I thought I won. And maybe Bobby thought he won. But at the end of the day, there was never any animosity from Bobby and I. I love Bobby. I think
Bobby's a wonderful person.
He is an absolute stud in the cage. Yeah. And he's like you hit the nail on the head with a gem. He's a great person, man.
Yes. Love the guy.
The energy around him, and just when you talk to him, he's a good guy, a really good guy. I'm not
coming
salty
from a
about
very
shit.
hard background. See, and this is where it's guys like Bobby. I'm going off on I'm getting on the pedestal here. This is where you look and my dad was in this situation, and you take a guy like Bobby Green, everything that you could say bad as far as upbringing, had a hard time, horrible situations, never made an excuse, just kept moving forward and doing the right thing, is a great human being, is good to other people. He tries to make other people's lives good because he wants to, because he's a good person. and he doesn't make excuses. And that's what I love about Bobby. Just a great fucking guy. And I'm sorry that he had to come away with this with the loss, but I was glad that he actually got some shine on this too, because he did. He got some shine, taking the fight last little minute, and going out there and look, he went out there and tried. It just wasn't enough for the guy that he's facing.
Yeah. I fought Bobby. I was in the cage with him, and I know he's gotten better. He's evolved. He's, he had some ups and he had some downs, but he figured himself out, and he's gotten better as time has gone on. But I remember the speed. I remember the strength. I remember the wrestling. I remember the feel in that clinch.
Mm-hmm.
And I trained for years with Islam.
With the guy that you remember that too.
I remember that very well. And I'm not, and this had nothing to do with taking size. And I'm never, just so we're clear, I'm never salty about anybody I've ever fought, ever. Like I was with Clay over some situation with the gel in the hair and the slippery, but I got over that. That's done.
The finger in the cut.
Yeah, the fingers in the cut, trying to open my cut underneath my eye. Like that kind of bothered me for a while. But look, then I started seeing Clay at like certain events and stuff, and we just, he was always respectful, and he's a great guy. He is a great guy, and I just let it shine. I'm like, okay, look, you can't carry that kind of anger around with you, or frustration, I guess. Like it eats you inside. I don't have that feeling against anyone, no one, none of these fighters.
Timothy
at the Delta Airlines. Yes, I got that problem with this guy. If I see this guy, I smash this guy. Let me just tell you.
I'm going to smash him.
Man.
I love it.
So when it comes down to Bobby is talented. I remember what he felt like in the cage. I remember the speed. I remember what power he possessed. I remember all of that. And those are feelings that you really don't forget. I shared the cage with him for 15 minutes. Islam, countless rounds of sparring, countless rounds of grappling, wall drills, all of those things. And I know how good he is. And when I tell you guys, and just please hear me out, when I tell you guys, he is the better foot sweep, better upper body takedown. He's also very good on the double leg. He just chooses not to use it. I know he used it in this situation, but he didn't want to lose the position, so he dropped down on the legs, locked his hands, and took him for a ride. That right there, along with his submissions, when I tell you that he is better than almost 99% of the people out there, I have seen him roll with, I'm talking top level black belts. And maybe one round where he had to figure them out. Next round, that person's on bottom just getting smashed. I mean, just smashed, guard passed, armbar defense. Just maybe didn't finish them, but all over them. And these guys are bigger. These guys are competing at 205, 210, whatever, for jiu-jitsu. They're all in that upper group. They're just hard to deal with, So Islam is, I got to be honest, when it comes down to this, Dave hit his record. People are like, oh, he's boring. Bobby said he was boring.
22-1.
He's boring because he dominates so bad, and it's like submission after submission after submission after submission. Maybe this was a TKO finish, but buddy, he could have taken the arm probably anytime he wanted. Just would have taken more time. You know what I mean? To set it up, control the arm, all these things. Keep going. Scroll down. So you got TKO finish over Bobby. You got submission, decision, submission, KO, decision, loss. That was the last time. So he's 10 in his last 10 fights, he's won. I mean, he's got finishes all through here, and a lot of them are going to be submissions. I'm telling you, he is damn good on the ground, John. He's good.
I think the thing, and this is what people forget, and you're absolutely right, is he's so dominating that it's not a great fight. It's his opponent is defending the entire. Well, look at Dan Hooker. Look at Dan Hooker. We know Dan Hooker's a great fighter, and he just took him out of his element, took him down, takes the arm, made it look easy. So it's not a great fight. It's a great win, but it's not a great fight. And he's done that time after time after time. His fight against Drew Dober, I thought Drew Dober fought his ass off, and it was one of the reasons that I was giving Bobby Green the chance of he'll make it out of the first round, but Drew Dober just got manhandled by him. I mean, it just to the point where it's just there's nothing there. And so if you want to say, is he a finisher? He's a finisher. He finishes a ton of people. And if you go the distance with him, and we're going to talk about a guy that did go the distance with him that is, had a
He's
great fight too. Stud. The guy is a stud. Now, can he go the distance with him again? I don't know, but you cannot say that Islam is not a finisher. He's a finisher. He's just that guy because he's so dominant. People are saying he's boring.
Well, the difference between him and like Khabib would beat you into submission to the point where while talking to you, that's what made Khabib so marketable. Whereas Islam,
I can't remember any of those.
Yeah, neither does his opponents. Islam will just walk you down, get to the takedown. When he does, he's looking for the submission. He's looking to submit you. If you try to make a mistake or try to make a submission or sweep or something like that, he's going to end up passing the guard, getting an attack in the arms. Look, there's been conversations I've had conversations with top-level jiu-jitsu guys and top-level wrestlers where these guys are wrestling, some of the best wrestlers in the world, were the best wrestlers in the world that are now turning over to fighting, that are super, super strong. And they're like, he is probably the strongest guy I've ever wrestled or grappled with, is when they're talking about Islam. I mean, if you go back there, I think there was an interview with Duran Wynn, who's like, he's shorter, stocky, strong as hell, super explosive. And he's just like, man, when I wrestle with Islam, he's like, that's the strongest dude I've ever wrestled. Strongest dude I've ever wrestled. And that's just one guy. I mean, other guys, I tell you guys, man.
And Duran is fighting at 185 and 205.
Yeah. And and that's the thing is, I'm not here to toot his horn. I don't need to. The guy's getting finishes. The guy's going to be fighting for the title next. I don't need to do that stuff. You guys can see it. Maybe you guys don't like him. I don't know. I don't
That's
care.
Okay.
He's a good fighter. He's a really damn good fighter. Bobby Green is a phenomenal fighter. I just knew that the experience between the two that I've had with both of them, and I just knew that if it did get out of the first round, it wasn't going to go much longer after the first round. And I just didn't think that the movement, and I think that Bobby leaves himself right there to be grabbed in the body lock in any type of position. Because even though Bobby rolls with the punches, he doesn't like shift a whole lot and move his body a whole lot, like in terms of scoots out and cut angles. So he stays kind of flat-footed a little bit, and that's never a good recipe, when you're dealing with one of these guys. So different styles make fights. Big win for Islam. Yep. He's a stud and nothing but the best for him.
All right, Wellington tournament against Misha Cirkunov. God damn, dude.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Misha puts up, he did a great job with the defense and then opens up. He won the first round because Wellington never had him in a position where he was really in danger. He had the back, he had position, and this is what people need to understand when we talk about judging and why judges go one way. Control is the last thing that they will look at. Last thing. I know you hear, certain people talking about, oh, well, he was in control of the fight. Control means dick unless the grappling and the striking and the aggression were all equal. Then you can go to control. So Wellington tournament, he had the back, but when Misha shucked him off, opened up, hit him with some big shots, he wins the first round. He's winning the second round, and whip, quickly. Yeah. That arm lock went on. The arm bar was really well done. He was tapping the moment that it got set.
It was very strange.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if he had a prior injury there where, sometimes, you get that thing start to get hyperextended. You know what it feels like, the pain. I don't know, but he was tapping from the moment it was set.
Yeah. It was a little weird to me, John, to be honest. I'm not going to lie. The one thing I want to talk about was when he had Turman was on his back. Yeah. And Misha hit him with the hula hoop. And if you guys don't know what the hula hoop is I think it was first done by Gilbert Melendez.
Yes.
People would get to Gilbert's back and he would just tuck his chin in.
Gilbert's the one that called it the hula hoop.
Yeah, I believe it was. That's the first time I've ever heard it. He's pretty much the only guy I've ever seen do it. I've seen other guys try and do it
consistently.
He did it all the time. Yeah. And I thought maybe it was just the way that his body was built because, and no knock on you, Gil, but Gil had kind of like a square body when he was younger. He had like kind of the hips that went into his legs. There was like belly, like not belly, but like stomach, belly, abs. Yeah, belly, and then like hips and then legs. There was no like waistline. It was so I just thought like it was easier for him to do it because, like when you lock the figure four on someone who has a small waist, they kind of their legs rest on your hips, or in your in that area there. But with Gil, he just would whip you around. I was like, oh, that shit doesn't work. And then I started doing it in training.
It
I'm
does.
like, that shit works.
Yeah, it works
and then
good.
when he trained with us, he did it all the time. Like I would get to his back and he'd hula hoop me, and I'm like, this motherfucker, it
Son
works.
of a bitch.
So when I saw him do this, I was thinking to myself right before he did it, I'm like, as soon as his hands came down and started going to the legs, I'm like, he's gonna try to move him over. He'd try to hit the hula hoop. 2 seconds later, boom, got it off. So Gil gets the credit for that position and that move, that technique. He's been doing that thing since early WEC days. Yeah. But overall, I agree. I think Misha won the first round. He was winning the second round, and I just felt it was a little suspect on the tap. Like that was a little quick. The leg didn't even look like it was, or the knees were fully clinched yet. Before he started tapping. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know what he felt or anything, but
Suspect.
A very nice win for Wellington Turman, turning it around, because the odds had switched. I like sometimes how the UFC will do the mid fight odds, and he says,
between round betting.
Yeah, it went to minus. It was minus 700 for Serkinov or something like that.
Jeez.
So that means that Wellington was put in a position where people were going, "You're going to lose." Nope, well, I'm not. So
I should have taken that bet.
I don't think you would have at the time, but you got to give it to. All right, I said some harsh things about Priscilla Cachoeira in her last fight, and she deserved every bit of it. Every bit of it.
Do you think she won this fight?
Okay, I'm not going to say anything about that. What a fight, though, between the two.
It was. What
a fight between the two.
John, you know what? I'm going to say this.
Go ahead.
Fucking candy ass. Oh, you candy ass. You're not going to say anything about the decision. What a candy ass.
It's because, look, there was a lot going on, and it was close.
It was close.
It all depends on which way you want to go, so I'm okay with it. But, I mean, boy, that third round.
Yeah.
And you got to give it to Cachoeira, man. She bit down and said, I'm going to come forward. I'm going to put this pressure on you. And she ate some shots. And she got hurt. Like, even at the end of the second round, she got hurt and just kept coming back. And Kim was tough as hell, but she got busted up in that third round. Yeah. But they were going at it. But you got to give it to both those ladies, man. That was some heart, some guts, and just a desire to come out on top by both. It was a fun fight to watch.
It was a very fun fight to watch. I actually, when this fight was announced, I was like, I don't really see this fight being.
I'll admit, on main card, I was like, really?
Yeah.
After she did what she did last time, you're gonna put her on the main card?
The main card.
I was like,
yeah. I kind of was thinking the same thing. I'm like,
someone do something.
We're giving them, and we're saying it's okay to eye gouge and do all these other things, and then we're gonna put you on the main card, especially up there that close to the main event. I mean, I was a little kind of like disappointed in the UFC. I'm like, that's like showing them that that shit don't matter. But this was a great fight. I thought Kim won. But like you said, when the fights are this close,
there's no complaint.
I see too many people throwing around, Kim was robbed.
Bullshit.
No, she wasn't robbed. She wasn't robbed. It was just, it really came down to whichever judge was in the right place to see how the shots landed, whether Cachoeira got rocked and how she stumbled back, however it was, but from my monitor, from my TV, what I was watching, I had Kim winning the fight, but it was close, and I'm not going to go complaining about it, but I'm complaining about it right now.
I think you are complaining about it.
But Kim won the fight.
You called me a candy ass for not making the comment that it was a bad decision.
It's a bad decision. Candy ass. Oh man, but overall, like we were definitely lucky to have that fight on the main card, and it was someone knew something we didn't know. Like, hey John, what the hell? Are you doing?
Exactly. I'll tell you what.
Good fight.
The whole thing is, I would have said you belong in the first fight of the prelims. You do that kind of shit, and I keep you. You better start proving yourself. Well, she proved herself. Yeah.
That's not fair to Kim.
No, it's not fair to Kim.
First fight of the prelims, that's not fair to the opponent.
Fair to Kim.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, Cachoeira, she's good. She's fun. She fights hard. But like, you can't. It was just weird to see her get, a little that much love, after coming off of that. But it worked out for the fans. That's the best part.
All right, Arman Tsarukyan, dude. When I saw Joel Alvarez, because I forgot about Joel Alvarez and watching him before and how good he was. Yeah, this guy is really good. So
he is, not was.
Well, he is absolutely.
He is good.
But as soon as I saw him walk out, I was like, "Oh shit, this is going to be better than I even imagined." This is a great matchup, and Arman Tsarukyan has proven that, man, he is continuing to get better. He's going to be a problem for everyone in the lightweights.
Yep. Yeah.
Cool.
John, he's and people look, and I'm not going to make an excuse, but I'm going to say like what happened with him and Islam, right? Everyone's like, oh, like I believe that he's still really, really good. Islam was sick during that week, and so when he was on medication, so like that's why he looked fatigued and tired. But when I talked to Islam about it, he's like, man, this guy very, very strong. He's like, this guy very good wrestling, good wrestling. He had nothing but praise to say about him, you know. And so I believe this young man's going to make a good run, and I believe that we're going to see him in that top 5. I think probably the next, I would say, 1 or 2 fights. I mean, Dave, can you pull up the lightweight rankings for the UFC? This young man is powerful. He's not afraid to stand and trade. Not. He's got good wrestling. He obviously has good ground and pound. That was a nasty, nasty elbow. I'm very surprised they didn't stop the fight because it was a cut off right down the middle there, as well as off the bridge of his nose. You know, so and that shit, it didn't take any time until that shit started squirting out. It was gooshing. It was just gooshing. You guys hear that? Gooshing. It was gooshing. So if we're looking at the lightweight division, if I was to match him up somewhere in there, I mean, him and Gillespie would be good. That'd be a fun fight. And maybe why not him and like say RDA?
RDA, that's the one I'm going with. Chandler's already gonna be fighting Tony, so I take them out of the equation. But RDA,
has that fight been announced? Because I keep seeing the poster put together, but I haven't seen an official announcement yet.
It's not official.
It's not official.
It's not official? Okay. Because somebody sent me, not just Dave sending me with the head swap.
Oh, yeah, the hairline swap.
You know, the hairline swap, which was hilarious. I'm like, man, Chandler's forehead got really big. I was like, some bitch. But I thought they had announced that fight, but I don't think they have. No, I've seen the poster, but I haven't seen them announce the fight. But anyway, I'd like to see Tsarukyan and Chandler or Tsarukyan and RDA. Good fight. Very good fight.
This is going to be a big week, so they'll probably announce, if it's official, they'll probably announce it this week.
Got it. But in that mix, that's who I'd like to see him fight, you know? And then, I mean, like, realistically, who do you think they give, that they give Bobby Green now? Coming off that loss, him being in that mix, who do they give Bobby Green? I want to see him and Dan Hooker. Give him Dan Hooker.
Dan Hooker's in 145.
He's still here in the rankings.
No, but he's 145.
Yeah,
he went down to 145.
Ooh, let me see. Who else? He's already fought
Gregor Gillespie.
Good fight. No. I mean, I want to see Gillespie fight Tsarukyan. That'd be good. I don't know. How about Rydell?
Oh, yeah. Brad?
That's a good fight.
Brad
Riddle, that's a good fight.
That'd be a good fight.
Because he's coming off of his loss to Fiziev. Yeah. And him and Green and Fiziev had a good fight. Yep. That'd be a good fight. That'd be a fun fight. Man, Rydell's got Riddle, whatever. He's got power. He's got some power. He's got some great kickboxing. Stud. All right, go back to the card. Let's get back to
Arman Petrosyan and Gregory Rodriguez. What'd you think?
It was a close fight.
So it's not a robbery.
No, this goes back to.
I thought Gregory won.
This goes back to
close,
the Kim.
So I have no complaints.
Yeah, I kind of, to be honest, I kind of thought Gregory won too. And felt like he was landing the harder shots. I felt like he was also pushing him back a lot more, controlling where the fight was going. I know control's like you said, the last thing that the judges go based off of. But when he was landing, he was like kind of turning Petrosyan left and right.
A lot of kicks by Petrosyan, though.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But I mean, they didn't really have any effect. A couple little body kicks got in, snuck in there, but not.
I don't know how you give the third round to Petrosyan. He got busted up. Yes, at the end he was looking good, but not enough to make up for all the shit that happened in the beginning of that round. But again, I don't have any complaints. It was a good fight. Yeah. But I thought Rodriguez won. And I think someone had Petrosian at 30-27. It's like, have you lost your fucking mind?
Yeah, I didn't see that. But the one kid that I want to talk to about is really young, very talented. This young kid, Ignacio. I'm not going to, Bahamondes or whatever.
Bahamondes.
Man, he looks good. Now I can see that he doesn't fight as well off of his back foot.
How many people do?
Yeah, not a lot of people do. But you could tell he was having a real hard time when Wrong was walking him down and putting his back to the fence and throwing striking. He just felt a little lost and confused in there. But his striking was crisp, and as soon as this shit hit the ground, he was on it. He was on that neck quick.
You mean the guillotine choke? I was like, what the fuck? The guillotine choke? Are you fucking kidding me? No, I lose my mind when that's the referee's responsibility to know what that hold is and to call it right. Mm-hmm. So, and that's for other people along the way, other referees, so you know what the guy's good at and stuff. So if I go back and I watch that fight and I see it and I go, that's no guillotine choke. What the hell are you talking about? You want to call it a Bravo? Okay, but it's a Darce. What the hell? Crazy. Drive me crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, but I was for a young kid, he still looked like he hasn't hit like manhood yet, like in terms of like his physique and stuff hasn't filled out. He's really thin, but he's fast with his hands, and when he misses, he still throws 2 and 3 after that. So like some fighters, right? They throw the 1-2. If they miss the right hand, they don't finish with the left hook in the right hand. He was touching. He was doing it. He was like, I missed the right hand. Okay, he threw another shot. I was like, oh, because that fighter thinks you're done majority of the time. He looked really good. I was very impressed. Now, I know he's got a long ways to go, and he's a young, talented fighter. When I sat back, I'm like, wow. Because even when Wrong was getting hit, and he was trying to do this to the crowd, like, no, I didn't get hit, or it wasn't hard, that young man stayed focused.
Hair or not,
he didn't start chirping back.
Yeah,
he didn't start chirping back. He didn't start, doing whatever. He just stayed focused on his game plan and just came out there and just got the win. Very nicely done.
So Nunez, she's tough, man. She's shorter, less reach, comes inside, big left hook all the time. I did not think that Pascual fought a very smart fight. Ramona just did not fight a smart fight at all. She fell into trying to get into a gunslinging battle with someone. Why are you getting into a gunslinging battle with someone like that? Yeah. You're taking all of your advantages and throwing them to the side. But, she paid for it in the end.
Pascual is big.
Holy shit. She made Nunez look like she belonged in a different weight class.
I was like, holy shit. I honestly, John, was wondering what weight class they were in. I was like, how is this fight happening? Did somebody miss weight?
No. One.
Well, it's a featherweight fight, right?
Yeah, I know. But her legs looked big. Her trunk, she was like.
She just looked big.
I was like,
she looked big.
But she took some big shots in that fight.
Yes, she did.
Like, holy cow. But overall, it was a fun fight to watch. They were getting after it.
Yeah.
The speed was definitely the biggest advantage for Nunez. She just was touching. And so, and the speed was there.
But it was also, the advantage was, look at when Pascual took her down, you're laying in her guard, and she's elbowing you in the head, and you're not doing anything. You're staying there. Mm-hmm. Why are you taking her down if you're going to end up just laying on top of her, not doing any damage, not looking for a better position, not going towards a submission? Like, this is your chance.
Yeah.
Wasn't there.
Another young talent, Terrence McKinney.
Dude, he looked good.
Here's the thing, though.
Again.
John, here's the thing. I know he looks good, but who's he fighting?
Doesn't matter. That's who they're putting in front of him.
I agree with you. I agree. And I'm not here to knock him at all. I'm not here. I'm here to say, like,
there you go.
I'm here to say, I'm on the bandwagon, but
I'm on the bandwagon. I'm just not sure that I can stay.
No, I think I'm going to stay. I'm going to stay.
All right.
But I want to see the next level. I want to see the next level of evolution.
Sure.
I think he's still young, and I think, like I said about Ignacio, let's slow play this, because when you have talent like this, don't rush it. Let's not get it. Let's take the Tom Aspinall route. Let's say, look, let's wait till we make a little bit more money. Like I was saying with what's the kid with the tattoos and the pink and purple hair? O'Malley.
Oh,
yeah, Sean O'Malley.
Sean.
Like let's slow play them. Like keep giving them the guys that they can just finish and put out and things like that, because they're going to be around for a while. They're talented. Build up their confidence. Let them keep working on their craft. I love that idea. This McKinney kid, as well as the Ignacio kid, they're going to need more time to be slow played. But absolutely, he is phenomenal. Like his speed, the power he possesses, his athleticism, all of those things. I'm down with it.
Just take a look at, when that fight hit the ground and the change of position and what he did. Look, he's athletic. He understands. He's got that feeling, cat-like reflexes and stuff. He had his first fight in the UFC against Matt Frivola, man. He got that fast knockout. And look, Frivola's good. He's a tough kid. And he is a guy that, comes to fight. I really like Matt. So, he got a big win there. And then this one, same thing again, quickly. I'm looking forward to watching Mr. McKinney improve in this sport, and let's see where he can go. He's good.
Yeah. Let's give him some time. But I'm here to say, I'm on the bandwagon. Terrence McKinney, I'm on the bandwagon, my man. I'm looking forward to your next fight. I'm on this hype train. I'm gonna ride it, but let's still continue to slow play it. Let's get a little bit more of that evolution in there. Let's see, exactly where it all ends up. But I'm cheering for you, buddy. Good stuff.
Yeah.
What other fights on this card?
All right. Well, the Jonathan Martinez against Alejandro Perez. Now, Alejandro Perez fights out of
AKA. I know him very well.
Okay.
Let me just say Fight IQ, not there.
No, thank you very much. You are so correct in this, because this is the fight that I was talking about. Look, we're going to talk about one in the UFC. This is a guy that came out. He was using good leg kicks. Now, Jonathan Martinez checked a couple of them and checked them well. And he stopped. He stopped throwing them. And you go, what are you doing? Why are you stopping? And it was a change in the fight. It changed the complexion. It changed the momentum of the fight. And that's why he ended up losing this thing in a decision. You look and you go, son, I understand if that hurt. It hurt him too. And now go back to it. You don't stop what you were planning on coming out here to do, and you were being actually effective in getting him to move with your kicks. You threw him to the side, and he took over the fight. It's your fault.
I go back to the Brian Moore and Lugo fight. If you're only going to use one weapon, which is your boxing, and you're the shorter fighter, like with Brian Moore,
shorter guy,
like it's harder for you to get in, and that's exactly what happened with Turbo. He just had a hard time covering the distance because Martinez was a longer fighter. So when he's using his kicks and he's using his long range jab and all of those things, and you've got to lunge in to land the shot, it's not a good thing for a 3-round fight. Like your time's just passing by and you're slowly outside of the range. And Martinez did a really good job of sliding in, sliding out, keeping his distance with his kicks. And then your corner's yelling at you more output. Their corner's yelling at you for more wrestling. You got to wrestle, man. You got to. He's got decent wrestling. He's got good wrestling. He's good on the ground as well. He's tough on the ground, but just wasn't listening. He came out, listened. I think in the third round, he came out trying to get the knockout.
No, he came out knowing that he was behind.
Yeah. It just wasn't enough. Not enough time.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh. All right. Well, what else you think?
That's good. I look at. Let's be Ramiz, Brahmas, great,
tough.
But again, there's levels, and his opponent was not on his level. So, but good win, nice to see, and we'll see what he can do in the future.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to wrap up our UFC conversation and our Bellator talk as well. So I guess now this is where we run off to Podcast Dave and we say, hey, Dave, you got any news for us, buddy?
What do you got?
What's the news?
Well, someone has to keep you guys on track here. So
what are you talking about, dude? We are so on track. We're on fire.
So
I want to put a fire emoji next to us.
We have a pay-per-view coming up next week, and Colby Covington versus Jorge Masvidal. So let's do weighing in on the odds, but only for the main event, and then we'll wrap the show after that. So let's get into it.
This is kind of surprising. At mybookie.ag, if you guys use that promo code, you guys, we give you a little for that initial deposit, give you a little extra spending cash. So we're going to break down this main event. And John, I got to be honest, man.
You're the same. You're in the same boat as me, baby. Go ahead and say it. Go.
I'm taking the Masvidal.
I'm taking Masvidal.
I'm taking Masvidal.
Same here, man.
I'm taking Masvidal.
I am not putting out $320 to take Colby Covington when a guy who's standing across the cage can starch him. Okay, I'm not saying that I don't think that Colby's the favorite. He is absolutely the favorite in the fight. And yes, if he gets his wrestling going, he can make this a slow, systematic mauling where he gets a decision win. First off, he ain't stopping Masvidal, so he's going to have to go the 5 rounds. So if you're going to say, I'm going to go with Colby, then definitely go Colby to the over. Okay? Parlay that because that's the only way he's getting the win in a decision.
Yeah.
But at plus 245, talk to me, Street Jesus. I'm going with it.
Street Jesus. Yeah, he's plus 245, minus 320 for Colby Covington. And then the over is 4.5 rounds. So minus 140 on the over, plus 110 on the under. I'm gonna go with Street Jesus, and I'm going. Look, we're going based off the betting lines. We're telling you guys if you're gonna place a bet, $50, $100, whatever it is, to put down on Masvidal. That's the way I would look at that fight. And I agree. John, I don't agree with John very often because he's normally wrong, but I'm normally right, as we found out this last weekend. Okay, but I'm gonna continue to drive that stake home. Baby.
My God.
That's right. That's
right. Oh my God.
Take it all, baby. Your turn. Your turn. Your turn. Love it. All right. I'll dial it down. But yeah, that's to me, that's a great bet. So go to mybookie.ag, use that promo code weighing in, and for your first initial deposit, use the QR code that's available as well. And that little QR code, I guess Dave put it up there for you guys. Okay, that QR code right there will give you a little extra cash for your first initial deposit. So use that promo code weighing in. All right, Dave, what else you got?
All right, let's. We got basically like 2 more days left of this.
All right, so go to the Weighing In podcast.
Hey, my stuff is being shipped. I got an email, so it might even be here. I have not checked, but I might have. I could have been wearing my
I need to put an order in. So go to weighinginpodcast.com, and there is no promo code. So right now we're running a discounted rate for all of our product.
As cheap
all of our
as
merch
it's made
as of right now. So we're running basically a really, really cheap. So we're running specials for you guys for the next 2 days until what, March 1st?
Till March.
Dave, 1st. Does it go through March 1st, or is it only until like
February 28th will be the last day.
February 28th is the end. There is no February 29th this year.
Okay.
No leap year for anyone. You get nothing extra, but buy that. Take a picture, wear it proudly, and send that picture to us, and we will put it up on our social media. See, I did that for you.
What else you got for us, Dave?
That's us.
That's it? They're going to wrap us?
All right. No news.
That's no news?
You rambled on for 45 minutes.
What are you talking about? That's my job.
He's saying you have a blabber lip.
We have a couple items we'll save for the midweek, but it's going to be a big week as it is.
He's calling us blabber lips.
Yeah, it's okay.
That's wrong.
It's okay. I saw he posted a video of himself running, and but the video wasn't him running; it was him walking, saying that he was running, and I was like, oh wow, he's like, I ran 2 miles. I'm like, 2 miles. I'm like, that's like my warm up because it takes my body 2 miles to warm up.
That's because you're old.
It's like my warm up. I'm like, ugh.
2 miles. So my body's not only not warm, it's broken.
Yeah. Oh man, I love it. All right, guys. Well, hey, I want to thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I think we're gonna have some fun on this midweek show because we got the fights coming up, the Colby fight, and we got some more fights to talk about as well. And the news is gonna be, I think, hopping this next couple days. So we're gonna drop a lot of news knowledge on you guys.
Absolutely, a lot of things coming up for everyone out there. Thank you for tuning in. We are the greatest podcast in the world when it comes to combat sports. I'm glad you are listening, and we will see you. Whoa.
Wait a second. Wait. One last thing, guys. One last thing. John, before we go, I got to hear you say, Josh, you were right.
We will see you